Ben Slater. I play Dagorhir battle games. When I'm involved in the game, I go by Duke Fontaine. Dagorhir is a mix of medieval combat and also combat from J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. The guys that came up with the game system had just read those books and seen a movie, I believe, called Robin and Marian in the late 70s. Said, hey, that looks kind of cool. You think we could recreate that somehow? Locally, Dagorhir is played at a public park, and that park also has a public golf course on it. So one day I was golfing with one of my buddies and our dads, and saw some guys running around hitting each other with sticks, and I kind of looked at that and said, oh, that's somewhat intriguing. I wasn't, gonna go check it out or anything like that, but something different. And I believe another time I saw them out there as well. Showed up one day, two guys came over as soon as I pulled up the car and said, hey, you wanna play with us? And I said, sure. So they explained the rules a little bit more and gave me a loaner shield and sword, and I went out and played for about an hour my first day, and it was a good time. I played soccer for about 20 years on the grade school, high school level, and then also local amateur teams. And comparatively between Dagorhir and soccer, I guess being more of a socially accepted sport or something that's been around for a really long time. You go to play the game, you enjoy the sport for what it is, and that's kind of it. With Dagorhir, it seems you go and you play, but also outside of that, you make some good friendships, because you're in there beating on each other, and you're sitting on the sidelines later on talking and chatting. And there's pretty easy to build up that friendship when you can't really get mad at each other. Dagorhir, definitely, if you show up to another realm and say, hey, I've been playing for a couple years over here, you mind if I jump in and play with you guys? Yeah, it's extremely welcoming. It feels really good to be able to go in there and have a group that you may know nothing about any of them, or may have seen their names pop up on a national board somewhere like that, or heard about them from somebody, and say, yeah, I play back in Fort Wayne with these guys, and like, oh yeah, I played with them a couple times, seen them at some events. The average response is kind of skepticism. Dagorhir, it's one of those things, it's got similarities to other live action role-playing games or LARPs, and people have some preconceived notions about that, where it's one step up from a Dungeons and Dragons type game, where you view a bunch of guys drinking Mountain Dew, glasses, rolling dice late into the night, never talking to girls, or getting outside that little circle of friends. Dagorhir's another step away from that in my mind, where it's all physical. There's no spells. What you can throw down is what you have. But a lot of people don't see it that way until they've been involved with the game a little bit or actually tried it. The Olympics is Indiana's biggest Dagorhir event. This year's gonna be Olympics 8, and that group, Mittlemarch, is what Indianapolis is called in Dagorhir, is putting it on. So most of their fighters will be working the event as opposed to playing it. Within Dagorhir, at large events, usually we got people wearing bright yellow tunics, and they're the heralds that are kind of explaining the game rules depending on what scenario we're playing, or making sure everybody's doing their best to play honestly and being fair to each other. These camping events, you go and fight for 3-5 hours a day, and then you're kind of hanging out at night, camping and partying with buddies you may see only 2 or 3 times a year and whatnot. It's interesting to kind of see how those groups come together and participate with each other on and off the field.
hit hard, fight hard, be hard, put your all into it, be super aggressive, but take it emotionally or mentally lightly because it is still just a game.